They didn't make cars for the Nazis like Mercedes.
Or Elon Musk.
He's a fucking Nazi. I hate him.
You've joined the club.
You fucking stupid South African apartheid bitch.
It's Sage Against the Machine, the nichest podcast on the internet. I'm Joshua.
I'm Isaac.
We talk about Onkwehonwe. We talk about native rights. We talk about weird stuff. Apparently, we're going to be talking about Trump every fucking day for the next 4 years until he throws us into a nuclear war.
Yeah, but we're going to kind of have to because it's fucking insane what's going on.
Well, I mean, if he was just screwing over Americans, it'd be okay. But he's like talking about the border.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a thing.
For sure. Especially for Acculturation.
And he's going to talk about federal funding. And for those who don't know, our casino only produces so much and everything else is federal funding.
Yeah, definitely.
Or state funding.
Yeah, that's why it kind of seemed like the tribe was shitting their pants. I mean, we had, you saw it all over Facebook. Like our community was going nuts.
Everybody was crying about it. On the one hand, I get it. Like, man, if I wasn't getting paid, it would suck.
I know what you're going to say.
The other half of me was like,
get a job.
We're reaping what we've sown too. We like to talk the talk, but I saw people on my feed who were saying stuff about like, what we'll do about this? Why don't we overthrow these governments? They're all colonial anyway, blah, 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 blah. I know their partner fucking works for the same federal, or some of the ones crying about the same federal dollars. It's like, dude, like
your over-reliance on their federal money is not, I mean, it's not okay for them to withhold the funds, and I understand why they'd be worried, but you've really helped to create the situation by that over-reliance.
Yeah, there's that. You sound like a school teacher or a prison guard bitching about socialism.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or a cop.
That's fair. Oh, here we go with the cops.
They're the biggest ones.
Yeah.
They love to whine about socialism, those fucking socialist bitches.
Yeah. That's your department was entirely funded by the government.
You're gunman for the state.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, but I mean, it was a little... I mean, I understand the worry and stuff. I do. And I know, like, trying to not be so alarmist and not get hysterical about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, it's like I get it. And I am concerned, but it almost feels like I want to be even less enthusiastic about, like, speaking out about this shit. Like, in terms of, like, speaking out against what Trump is doing. Because people are going way over the fucking top too quickly.
At one point, is it a coup, though?
Well, I mean, we were just talking about Elon, so...
Yeah, that's why I bring it up, because Reddit's using the word coup. He's an unelected guy, not a national... I don't know if he's got a citizenship.
And he wasn't a political appointee either.
And they just create...
By the Congress.
And they just create this department, and now he's in charge. Now he's barricaded himself or whatever into the counter, the pay counter, the ticker, the bank teller, the government treasury. Bank teller, of the treasury,
the treasury that cuts the checks.
That means they can stop the checks because they can just physically they have physical control of the computers.
And I didn't even I didn't look. I heard a little bit about that, and that he's in that system now. Now, did they hack into it, or did he basically just Debo his way in?
They just did that, and they called security on whoever was in charge, and I security keeps listening. This is why I'm laughing. Like, oh, we'll be defended by our security and our cops and our military. No, they're not gonna. They're gonna obey orders.
Yeah,
more than less.
I agree on that. I just think at some point there will be a moment when I do think that, like the military and the cops, I think that there will be a point where they would say, no, we're not doing this.
I wonder what that point will be.
It would be bad. It's going to be bad. Because it's going to go far.
I also saw a friend of mine sent me a video of ICE raiding a Phoenix, Arizona neighborhood with an armored personnel carrier. Mm-hmm. That's not cool.
No, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they were going into fucking churches, which, I mean, I can go off all day about, Christianity and the Catholics and shit, but it's been pretty much widely accepted around the world that churches and places of worship are off limits, and they are violating that, like, pretty much since day one, since he retook office.
A good point somebody made is like you know where somebody really is when when they care more about smashing the enemy and winning
Yeah.
than like coming to solutions.
Yeah. That's psychopathy.
But they are using he's doing the thing where he lies. And so he says Canada doesn't import food from the U.S. As a food shopper who often shops in Canada, I know for sure that's not
Canada.
true. Guess what? Avocados don't grow in Canada.
Yep. They are definitely.
Oranges don't grow in Canada.
I saw that. I think they say that like 90% or so of avocados are grown in Mexico and imported from Mexico.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some are grown in California, but almost all of them are grown in fucking Mexico.
And all the Florida oranges, guess where they grow those?
Yeah.
Not in Canada.
That's very true. Well, they did. So he did he signed off on the tariffs on Saturday, right, to go into effect.
Yeah.
Did you see that they paused it?
Yeah. So basically, he's holding a gun to their head.
Put 10,000 soldiers on the border.
Yeah, from Mexico.
Or we're gonna in a month we're gonna just put into force those fucking tariffs.
Yeah. So he's just holding a gun to their head.
And I mean it's an economic pistol.
I can see the MAGA people loving that.
I don't know that they do though. I mean that 30%, the hardcore dummies, they will.
Yeah.
Because they're not forward thinking enough.
Yeah,
they don't realize how much like one of the ones that a lot of people don't realize is the auto parts.
Yeah.
So I think like more than 50% of the auto parts that are used in Napa, fucking all of them, your garages, they come from Canada. They're made in Canada. So when you go to fix your car, where normally it would have been $200, and now it goes up to $325. What are you going to say then? I mean, like, people aren't thinking of this shit.
And there's other things they don't think of, like potash, which is a basic building block of soil.
Yep.
Most of it from the U.S. comes from Canada.
Yep.
And it's just a nature.
My wife's been talking about this big time.
It's just a nature thing.
Yep.
It's not something, we can produce this ourselves.
Yep.
Not for what you pay for it now.
I don't know if it's a mineral or what, but it's something that's
it's potash. It's potassium.
Yeah.
So
but it's Canadian sourced.
Yeah. They must have they have pits and stuff with the permafrost where they can dig it up.
Well, that's what they say with I hadn't realized that either, that a good portion of the like fertilizers and stuff, those are made in Canada, which I'm assuming is largely a large part of it is the potash
and a lot of heating fuel. So even if you get your heating fuel from locally from Adirondacks heating, they get it from Montreal.
And
so does the everywhere in the res.
We also have gas stations on the res that get their fuel from McEwen, which is a Canadian company.
Yeah, they all do because the refineries in Montreal.
Yeah, not all of them, but there are gas stations here that do. There are some that have access to the racks in Albany, and
which is farther away.
Yeah, but I mean that's. There definitely are gas stations here that get their gas from McEwen, which is a Canadian company.
So the thing he's doing, that's a bald-faced lie. CBC said, an outlandish claim. And that was a nice way of saying a bald-faced fucking lie.
Yeah, to say you're a circus peanut-looking lying motherfucker.
Yeah. And the other one was that, so basically what Trump got them to do was commit the money they were already going to commit, which they already said they were going to commit to the border.
Yep.
And possibly put some soldiers on the border and maybe put the CBSA underneath the military, which is a bit terrifying.
That is fun.
That was Pollier. That was his idea.
Was it?
Yeah, because then they could use the spending that they do on the CBSA as their military spending.
That's fucking insane.
Because there's a benchmark they need to hit.
I mean, that is something that we in Onkwehonwe, we should be very concerned with because if the border guards for Canada are all of a sudden militarized, literally militarized as an arm of the Canadian military. That's a huge problem. We are going to have major fucking problems here.
I mean, unless we just beat the Canadian military.
See, I know we couldn't beat the American military.
No.
We might be able to take the Canadians down.
I mean, the Mohawk cops were trained in Atlanta by all the, black killing cops, so they should be pretty good at killing.
Yeah.
So they're like special forces.
I mean, I don't know how could. You know what though? I think that they would like they'll be distracted by like lynxes and beavers and shit. I mean, or they'll be fucking all hopped up on maple syrup and fucking won't be able to concentrate, buddy.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting times anyway.
They'll come in fucking playing Celine Dion and Bryan Adams on big fucking speakers. That's their marching in tunes with the fucking military.
So there's a part of me that wants, this Doge thing, which, he's a troll because he named it Doge.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's such a troll thing to do.
That's the coin. It's
the stupid dog.
Yeah, that's the fucking he clearly is a fucking troll.
Yeah, he's a agent of chaos.
And by the way, people, I know that I said in an earlier episode when he did that fucking motion and shit, I wasn't defending him, but I'm saying now, like, I never liked Elon, but he is a fucking pile of dog shit, and I was trying not to get hysterical, but at this point, I'm like, fuck that guy completely.
In light of his actions going over to Germany and saying, hey, you don't have to be sad about the past.
Yeah, I mean...
That's a weird thing to do.
That is fucking insane. Like, okay, I get it that those people, they were not active Nazis, and I'm not saying that they even hold that ideology, which I'm still not saying 100% that Elon holds that ideology. But my thing is, he's telling those people, you shouldn't basically feel any shame or regret or feel, have any sort of, bad feelings about your grandparents and great-grandparents who were actual fucking Nazis.
Yeah.
Where the fuck, like, what planet are you living on, dude? Like, you are fucking, anybody who can say that he's not telling those people they shouldn't feel bad for Germany's historical atrocities, you're fucked. That's fucked.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to do.
It's very weird.
I wonder how the ADL people who defended him felt about that.
I didn't see any, I try to avoid the ADL as much as I can at this point. What I think is interesting, though, is that, see, I worked my Twitter algorithm to the point, and I know you're not a big Twitter user, but I worked my algorithm to a point where I wasn't getting the super hardcore Zionist shit.
Right.
It wasn't showing up in my feed too much anymore. But what would constantly show up is the fucking ADL and that Greenblatt, Jonathan Greenblatt.
Uh-huh.
That shit would still show up, but I've noticed lately the ADL is not showing up in my feed anymore. So they might have gotten pissed at Elon for...
Stop paying?
Yeah.
Stop paying for ads?
Stop bumping them in the algorithm and shit because they got pissed at him or something.
I get a lot of religious ads in YouTube. I have it set not to track my ads and not to do the thing where it... Yeah, basically just turn that off.
Oh, yeah.
So I get a lot of weird religious ads.
No shit.
Bible stuff and...
See, I don't really get a lot of I don't get any Bible stuff. Yeah. I don't think. Like my YouTube algorithm is like 80% politics. It's like, and then the rest of it is 10% of it's probably 49er shit. And I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Mine looks
it's not stupid. I told my wife what you said about sports fans like being obsessed with it being stupid and shit. I was like, man, fuck that guy. I was legit pissed when I got home.
So I didn't say they were stupid. I said sports are stupid.
Well, okay.
I said they live in the same place as your brain as politics and religion.
Which is sort of true.
That's why people get so tribal about it. Well, it's such a dumb talisman.
That's kind of the point, right? People are tribal at heart.
Yeah, but
until we evolve past that shit.
They don't have any more idols or talismans, so they have to make one up.
Yeah. That's fair. Well,
that's how we ended up with Elon Musk in the Treasury.
Well, what made me laugh when you said that though was the part about you all wear the same clothes, which is fucking funny as shit because like that is true. It's funny. I mean, I'm wearing a fucking Ace hat right now, but that one got me. But yeah, I mean, my YouTube algorithm is 49ers, and the rest is like a mix of it's like alien shit. History stuff, some like serial killer shit. Like it's an interesting mix.
Yeah, mine looks like I have ADHD.
Yeah, I could see yours for sure.
Mine's crazy. Yeah, even when I interact with TikTok, the three of us share a TikTok. So when I interact with it, mine throws everybody else's titties off.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like, my current obsession is snowboarding.
Yeah.
So it's like snowboarding, then it's like nerd stuff. I think people underestimate how hardcore a nerd I am.
Yeah, he really is.
Like, I know stuff about the history of Westeros and the history of like Middle Earth.
Yeah.
Like, I know more about Middle Earth than I do about Jesus.
Man, fuck that guy. Be like, I care about Tyrion Lannister more than I do about.
He was all right. Him and the Buddha themselves are all right.
No, I know. I wasn't.
Their followers are dickheads.
I wasn't really saying fuck Jesus like that.
I'll say it.
I was saying you. I was speaking for you.
I don't think he came back to life.
You care about the family line of the Lannisters more than you do about what's in the Bible, which is fine by me because I feel the same way.
Which is just as real.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I haven't. It's not a problem with religion necessarily. Like I kind of was talking about this with somebody over email the other day, and I kind of went off a little bit on like religious zealots, like the ones who, like I noticed that Tucker Carlson, a lot of his fans tend to, lean into the religious shit.
Yeah, he's
hardcore.
good till he's not.
Yeah, exactly. Like I do. Like when Tucker's talking about freedom of speech, freedom of press, that kind of stuff. He's great on it.
Yeah.
But then he'll start talking about another topic and he'll start bringing the God shit into it. And I'm like, dude, like I can't get with you. You can't.
I don't believe him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I don't believe him. He's too smart.
You're not. He is really.
Anyone that smart doesn't. There's too many logical holes.
They know exactly.
And they don't have faith. And he's a millionaire. No, I don't believe him.
No,
he's not true.
Did you know he was? He's a Swanson, like from that family, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know. I listened to and I don't care what anybody says. You can get mad at me all you want, but I listened. Did you ever listen? I told you should listen to the interview he did with Thomas Massey, because you're a libertarian and he's a Republican, but he's really like a libertarian.
Libertarians are annoying. I get it.
Yeah. No. I like Thomas Massey actually.
Yeah. But I get it because most of them aren't. They're only this much libertarian.
Yeah.
And they're actually just conservatives.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah, they're not actually. They're. They're
You're more like a libertarian hippie.
Yeah, there is a libertarian left. I'm probably somewhere in there.
Yeah, that other libertarian.
People will say you have no whatever. It's like, yeah, that's right. I'm not a zealot about most things.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that too. Is like libertarians are really touchy about their shit. Like you have to rigidly.
Every fringe movement is every fringe movement. Look at the commies.
Yeah, that's true.
Look at every strain of communism and anarcho-syndicalism and blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't even know all the names. They all have different colored flags.
True.
It's so annoying.
There's no cohesion.
It doesn't have to be. But, you can have basic premises. And let's start with, it's not cool to murder other humans or take their stuff. That's a good starting point.
I'm good with that.
There will be people who argue, well, is it really their stuff?
Yeah. Oh, God. I got into that fucking shit. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, what were we talking about?
So, back to the true. Well, we were just talking a little bit of update. So as of this recording, we don't know if this will hold true by the time you hear this.
Yeah.
It looks like Canada and Trump. So Trump called it a win, but he's not really getting much. I think he just wants to be the tough guy.
Yep.
But he only said a month.
Yeah.
He's just going to hold that tariff over their head.
Forever.
And from what a lot of Canadians I read said is, well, we already had a free trade agreement.
Yep.
And we can never trust it anymore again. And we don't need to be getting so close to the U.S. again. It's probably hurt U.S. soft power for a generation.
For sure. Well, when you try to make the soft power into rigid hard power like that, I mean, it's, I think he's overplaying his hand in terms of, I don't think that he understands that the U.S. empire is weakening.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, and the de-dollarization and stuff, that is coming.
And the other one is he's probably forcing through as much as he can, knowing that a lot of it will be shut down. And
a lot of the fallout from that too is probably going to come after he's out of office, or at least like towards the tail end of his term. So I think that I think he's overplaying his hand. I don't think he understands just how just how much the world is turning away from the U.S.
Now, if you want a different, go on the conservative forums.
Oh yeah. Oh,
they
I've
are
been
with it. They're
Yeah.
like, this is so cool.
They really are.
They're gonna shrink the size of the government for real for once.
Yep.
Not entirely against that.
No, I'm not.
But it depends on where you start. Let's
Yep.
not start with the most vulnerable people.
Yep.
Let's that's where I go. Like, okay, the libertarians don't want a welfare state. Yeah, but we're not going to start by getting rid of welfare.
Yeah.
We're going to start by getting rid of warfare.
Yes, that's
That's where most of the spending is.
That's where
Let's,
most of the spending is.
Let's be a little more defensive in our military. You want to start ending stuff? Start closing some bases, motherfucker. Start reeling it back in.
That's one area where I agree with the libertarians 100%. Is I understand every nation needs to have a military. I get that, but it's supposed to be defensive.
Yeah,
and like clearly the U.S. does not adhere to that. I mean, even, that soft power we were just talking about, I mean, they play on that, but also, I mean, there's all sorts of Delta Force trained fucking CIA operatives doing these,
saw that stuff.
color revolutions and doing coups that the United States general public has no fucking clue they were doing, I mean, Central America is a mess because of the CIA.
Yeah, and to what end for all of this? Like, that's the thing is, okay, all empires fall. I think we're at the point in humanity we can almost all communicate with each other.
Yeah.
Instantaneously.
Yeah.
There's people in China being like, hey, Americans
Yeah.
are like, and then there's Americans that are like, yeah, tell your governor to fuck off.
Yep.
See what happens to you. Both are valid.
Both are fair.
I could go to Trump and in his face and say, fuck you, and nothing will happen.
Well, I don't know.
Wow. I might get punched.
I don't know.
I might get punched.
Might get worse than that.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think
either.
so. I think you can say you're a scumbag. I don't know if Chinese people can go on their social media and say this guy's a scumbag.
Yeah.
Xi Jinping is a scumbag, and so is the Communist Party.
I don't think that. I mean, I've seen the prevalence of, people basically embracing, China and stuff, which is fine because I think that that's something that we should do. But I also see them, they're totally downplaying any talk of, that there's political repression and, suppression of speech, and that there are serious threats to individuals who speak out. You know what I mean? For them to totally ignore that that's not right either.
Yeah, but the whole point of all these institutions and all this trade and everything is so humans can stop bickering with each other violently and take all that wealth we just blow up.
Yep.
And migrate into space.
And how about, right?
And create a huge galactic civilization.
We might not need to move to fucking Mars if everybody here could get along a little better. I mean, what are they, fucking kindergartners?
I know, right?
I mean, seriously, it's crazy. It's
Everyone's gods have stopped killing each other.
That actually might be, because if we're, like, in terms of kindergartners, I think Elon's eating the glue and Trump is sniffing the fucking markers. And that's why they're all fucked up. Trump's going to start shitting his pants soon, too, I'm sure.
I mean, he's an old guy.
Yeah. Sometimes it looks like he's wearing a diaper.
When the makeup's gone, when the makeup's off,
yeah,
it's not a good look.
He's the same color as a fucking Oompa Loompa. He really is.
So it could affect us, with the border.
Yeah, I mean, here, he paused the tariffs, which is good. Although I do think, this is something that, I think that we could delve into a little bit more too, is, the effects that the tariffs would have on us, would definitely be felt. But I also think that, that really could, I've seen people in Onkwehonwe talking about we could make money off of this.
I'm sure people who have warehouses are already like,
I was already doing research on what consumer goods are the most, imported from Canada. And what are the most exported items to Canada?
What did you learn?
Well, it was the auto parts. It was the the potash, fertilizer, agricultural stuff. A lot of energy. But see, you notice too, I think that that's why I'm saying, like, yeah, he's an idiot, but I don't think he's gone. I won't say it. Everybody watch Pineapple Express and hear Robert Downey Jr. But anyway, I don't think he's gone full that way, because when he laid out the tariffs, he only did 10% energy.
On China. Oh, yeah.
On Canadian energy.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It wasn't across the board like
it
they're
was
saying?
not across the board. So he recognizes that the U.S., is still reliant on other nations in order to keep the lifestyle of those of us peasants that he looks down his orange nose at. Like that's, I think he understands that, or he at least has people working for him that understand that. Because otherwise he would have just, 25% across the board, fuck Canadian oil, fuck Canadian, refined gas and all that shit. Because that's something that, anybody who has looked at the oil industry in the U.S. understands is that all of the activism by the hippies has made it so that there's not enough refining.
Well, that's his next target.
Plants. Well, I know.
And to open up national parks and stuff like that to development.
Yeah, and I think he probably is going to do that.
While gutting the regulatory agencies whose whole point is, let's not leave a mess here.
Yeah. They're more than willing to create more of a mess. And, and it's funny, it's like we, all of you non-natives listening to this, you all...
We cry every time we see litter.
Yeah.
It's annoying. There's so much litter. I just can't stop crying.
I'm going to get that teardrop tattooed on my face, and it's not going to be for deleting people. But, I mean, that's the thing is, like, a lot of, I know you've heard that before, is people, non-natives will say, well, you guys are supposed to be the stewards for this land. And, yeah, we are. We should be.
Look how clean our community is.
But that's the thing is, like, we don't necessarily, hold up to that standard. But one of the reasons why, I think, is because we've been dumped on so long. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck else do you expect us to do?
Well, also when you're poor.
Yeah, and we're...
Wow, we're getting less poor.
Akwesasne is less poor than other reserves, but I mean, as a demographic group, as a racial group,
and some people just need an ass kicking.
Yeah,
like a foot in the ass would
pick your fucking yard up.
Yeah,
seriously, some people do, but it's it's just
the creator cries every time you don't take your garbage to the recycle.
Yeah, for sure. If I hear. Oh, man. But I do remember growing up and seeing Iron Eyes Cody on TV. Yeah.
So
who bullshit looks fucking, who's way browner than I am.
Does just bum me out, that Italian guy?
Mm-hmm. It really does. Me and my fucking pale skin.
So locally, that, this is going to have an impact because government efficiency, I don't think that's the worst idea in the world, going through everything. Not the way they're doing it.
Right.
But maybe they feel like,
now with a blowtorch.
Maybe this is how this is how they feel like they cut right through the bureaucracy.
Yeah.
They're just going to cut through it with a chainsaw.
But and it's going to end up hurting things much more than, precision cuts is what I think would be more appropriate. But I mean, and I agree with you. I think that there is a lot of bloat, a lot of waste.
I mean, we've talked about doing fraud. Similar things locally.
Yeah, exactly. Which we do have that here. I mean, we have a bunch of waste, and I mean, I'm not making this claim. I can talk about the waste because I've worked for the tribe and I've seen it. Mm-hmm. There is waste. I can't make any claims about fraud because I haven't seen any directly, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was fraud as well.
Yeah.
But I just, so it's that thing that we always talk about. We're a microcosm of them. We're a tiny replica of the outside, of the federal government, of the state. I mean, it's just, there is bloat, there's waste, there's duplicity, and it's just ridiculous.
So with this coming, would it not behoove us to, like, we should already prepare? We all love to call ourselves warriors. We're the worst warriors in the world, just because we don't organize at all. We just react.
Yeah.
We react.
Talk shit on Facebook.
Yeah,
and then
have an emotional explosion without any follow-up.
And people will talk shit about those who are trying to organize and do something about what is going on.
Just don't do it on the weekend, man. I'm busy.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. I got to eat cheeseburgers on my days off. But this is one of my days off, goddammit, and I'm here.
Yeah.
Doing the creator's work for everybody out there.
Through the snow.
Yeah, all right.
It was snowing out.
Yeah, it was. Roads are shit.
Yeah. So that, I mean, it would behoove us to get behind it. I was thinking, like, when I was seeing the ICE raids, and I was like, well, are the local police cooperating with ICE?
You would think.
I don't know if they are, but maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah, well,
it's solidarity with the Navajos, and you gotta tighten that, bud.
oh, what, this part?
I don't know which part's making that noise. There, it's
Nope.
the end, I think.
There it goes. There's an edit. But I mean, yeah, I see that. I don't know. I mean, the thing is that especially with the tribe, the directives really do come top down there, and the SRMT, their council is so weak. I mean, and just pushovers. I mean, just the land claim settlement alone will tell you that there is no backbone there to be had.
Yeah. Well, let's go right there then.
Okay.
I saw a thing posted on the People's Voice.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read all that?
Yeah, about the updates and such.
Yeah. So apparently some people from the nation are going to different meetings than I'm going to. I don't know about
Or perhaps a lawyer lied.
Or a lawyer lied.
Misrepresented what's really going on.
Or a lawyer from Washington, D.C. lied.
That would never happen.
A white lady from Washington, D.C., no way.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
It's not like white people have lied to us and about us before.
Over lands. Never when it comes to land.
Never,
Land is
never,
sacred.
never.
Yeah. So I saw that today.
Yeah, I saw it too.
I'm glad there's people out there kind of following this up.
Yeah. It's
So 14 days from Valentine's Day. Apparently it's going to be all wrapped up one way or another.
That's what they say.
I don't know what that means.
It's that's the whole. I mean, like you talk about like the worst warriors ever, and I know perhaps it seems like I'm harping on this too much, but it's fucking ridiculous. Like you have people, particularly like, and I'll say this because, and I'm not giving myself credit, but I work with the people at the People's Voice. They do put in the time to make sure that the community stays updated about this stuff, and they've, I mean, they were the ones who got me to wake up again. But, they've been they've been doing their best to get the community involved in this, and it's just not having an impact. It's not bringing the community at large around to the point where it would be effective on a mass scale. So, I mean, and then you got your people on Facebook who will just talk shit, but they don't want to put any time and effort into it.
Well, I mean, they got shit to do.
Well, yeah, so do all of us.
Yeah, that's always the thing with getting a movement going.
Fake warriors.
Yeah.
Fake activists.
I did see
you want those likes, but you don't want to put in any fucking real time.
Right, or just get mad, and that's just be mad.
Throw a fit.
Just always be mad.
And bullshit.
Yeah.
Never have any those pseudo-intellectual fucking posts and amorphous fucking arguments about things that we should do and that need to be done, but you're never going to get off your fucking ass and go actually put any of that into action.
Yeah. So I did notice some of our friends from SNI are taking action.
Yes.
They're very upset. Many people are upset that the Canadian Band Council signed off on the land claim agreement, but they didn't all. One of their trustees was down, or one of their band counselors was down with illness. So, and somehow that thing got through that day.
Yeah.
When they didn't have a full house.
Yeah.
And so now that some of our friends from G9 are holding accountable, and I always find it interesting, as kind of a longhouse person, as someone that's kind of anarchic, and when I hear language outside of like my realm, like I saw people, why are you going after our leaders? They can't even do anything to our leaders, and I just don't jive with that.
I don't either.
And it's it's like a trip to watch, this person thinks so completely different than I do, and they just live down the road. Yeah. So different. And they just kowtow to this false idea of a leadership. And I don't, and am I just being that, just the frog in the bucket then, or
right, or
am I just the righteous warlord sitting up top being like, you colonized fool?
I mean, I think I'll back you up on, I think both of us suffer from some disease of self-righteousness at times. I mean, I do, I believe that, but I also do believe that we're fucking correct on this. I mean, look, I'm happy. That's one thing that MCA has as a means of correcting
Yeah.
their leadership when they're upset with them.
Very easy way to undo it. Which is logical.
It is logical.
It's logical. This many people voted for you. This many people plus one can vote you out.
Yes.
And this gets around. So some years ago, some technocratic dipshit put in these staggered election systems so for continuity of government. That's why we can no longer clean slate your government. That pretty much guarantees, unless you I don't know how no one's been able to since it's put back in, just wipe out the government.
Right.
Sometimes you need to.
Yes.
Like when they're, taking over the treasury.
Yep.
And
yeah.
and threatening your allies, and that'd be a good time.
Your largest trading partners in the world.
That'd be a good time for the 80% who didn't care for Kamala or Trump to be like, we should galvanize into something else.
Yeah. This is the time for a fucking third party to really rise up. And that's why, MCA, with all the flaws that it has, at least they do have a straightforward and not so difficult mechanism to get rid of those fucking people who signed off on this. And, I'm working on, that story to get the full, full scope of everything.
Yeah. Somebody with ape shit tried to start a fight. That was fun.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. Yeah. I'm going to be speaking with that person who was attacked and going to get their perspective on it. But I'm also, I've made inroads with, somebody who is in a position to know stuff. And we'll see how that goes. But it's, I
mean, we're just firing them. We're not bringing out a guillotine.
No.
That's the French Revolution. It was a guillotine. Relax, everybody. You're just losing your job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the thing is, if you had, for them, it's the same thing. It's like you had an easy fucking solution to this was do another referendum.
Yeah.
That was all the people were asking for.
Yeah.
That was all they were asking for. They just wanted to have another chance because it's been 20 fucking years. And, that's all they wanted. They wanted a referendum. There's an entire generation of young people who never had an opportunity to weigh in on that issue, whether or not they actually wanted to go through with a land claim settlement. And it's not unreasonable for them to ask that. And so what do you expect people to do when there is a fairly straightforward and, reasonably easy way to get rid of those people who have directly violated your calls for how you want them to govern?
Yep, and no one's calling for heads to roll.
No.
So I don't get this.
Maybe just you and me.
Not out loud. That's illegal.
Oh my God, they are watching.
They did watch. I'm sure they watched the Luigi episode.
Oh, for sure.
That shows our feelings in some of these things.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but I mean that can kind of go to the same thing about our territory, our nation here, is that Luigi did what he did against one of the elites in the outside world. We do have an elite class here.
I mean, they think they're elite. I don't know how elite they actually are.
Yeah, but I'm saying in terms of the power held by them for policy making, decision making, there is an elite class here. I think
there's an annoying class of wieners who have nothing better to do but then sit on every single board and just manipulate. So manipulative.
Yeah, but that's the same thing when it comes to those boards and committees. Who are the people putting them in those positions? It's that elite class.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a certain somebody that, he was on every, former tribal council member. His daughter is on every fucking committee that there could be, and it's just crazy. And this guy was out there advocating hardcore for the land claim settlement.
And before that, advocating for oil pipelines.
Yes.
And advocating for Enbridge.
Yeah. Mistaken idiotically, detrimentally to our community. And I just don't understand why people, I wish that our community would wake up to the fact, or at least back up the people who are willing to go and do the work to break up this elite class. I call them the tribal elites, and maybe you don't agree with me, but we do have a class of people like
The
that
power
here.
elites is what the libertarian would say.
Well,
You're
I
getting
mean,
there.
yeah, but do you honestly think that I'm wrong? You know,
No. There's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they would probably spin it a different way. They probably would say,
Of
well, that's
course.
how you make alliances, and that's how you play the thing, and that's how we move forward as a people together for a brighter and better future.
And we have had major problems before because of those people doing those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And we're building up to that. Well, if we didn't have such fucking shit people in our generation who wouldn't fucking stand up. I mean, okay, I know I'm being harsh, but it grinds my gears. You know, it's like there are activist-minded people here who will put in the bulk of the time,
Mm-hmm.
but it's that thing, the man on the island. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't, it's not going to work with just a few people. It won't work. You have to, even if, you know, you have to be out there. You have to have the numbers to show these people that you mean business and that we will do what we need to do to get rid of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, seriously. And MCA has a mechanism in order, you know, there's a method for them to do
A
it.
recall method.
Yeah, exactly.
So does Canada.
Well, we also we need to be fighting hard to have that same mechanism added into the SRMT election law policy. We need to have that. We need to have people out here fighting for that. And I don't give a shit if the council members don't like it. I don't care. You don't listen to the people. You know, they can say they do, and they can come out with their nonsense, you know, well, we want to pass this code and, you know, we're required statutorily to do 3 community meetings. And you can do that, fine. But you typically get 4 people who show up, and then you do not really listen to those people. I've been at those meetings. They don't really listen. Almost all of the suggestions made, both written and verbal, do not end up being thrown into those codes or those laws or those ordinances. They don't make it in there because they do not care. So it's
They want to do what they want to do.
exactly
How they want to do it.
And there's also something that people in Onkwehonwe don't think about too much. They can amend the laws just with 2 out of 3 of the tribal council members. You know, now I've asked them multiple times about this, and they've consistently told me, so I can't say, you know, that they've come back and said we are just going to amend it and do whatever the fuck we want. They do say that if there's a significant amendment that they're proposing for any of the laws or ordinances, that they would bring that to the community. Okay, that's fine. But the fact remains that they still can, with 2 signatures, just change it. So, yeah, I mean, and I've made that point multiple times, and people are not really hip to that yet. I don't think. I don't know why it's never resonated with anybody on a large community-wide scale. But I mean, it's something that's really concerning because you can essentially, we have no legislative branch.
Right.
You know, if you say the word Constitution, it freaks
People
everybody
freak
out.
I think they just don't know what the Constitution means.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I understand that the constitutional, you know, crisis that happened here in the 90s, I get that. I've read Darren Ponenbart's book. You ever read that one?
Yeah.
Too Many Chiefs, None of Indians?
Yeah, it's good.
And it's very interesting and it's very informative, and I understand why people are concerned. But, you know, just Constitution isn't necessarily the boogeyman that we
well, it
have
also
to make
limits
it out to be.
power.
Yeah, exactly, and that should be the point.
Like, if you know, pretty good thing. There's a Constitution of the United States right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Again, laws are just words on paper, and how they're enforced is what really matters.
well, that's who said that? Was it Nixon? You know, Supreme Court says something. Well, how are you in order? Well, how are you going to enforce it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fair thing to.
Yeah, words are
well,
words.
it's not fair. It's wrong, but it's something that is understandable to say, because how the fuck is the Supreme Court going to enforce an order?
Yeah, but know that words aren't sacrosanct.
No.
You don't say it and then it is so.
No.
You're not the Lord.
No.
The Lord spoketh and then it happened.
Save me, Jesus.
Yeah, well, I mean, people seem to have that. You know, I've been at many a longhouse meeting where they'll say, well, there's people bull and blah, 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 and we made this treaty, and that's what lets the U.S. operate, is we have the power because we made our ancestors may or may not have made a treaty in 1720 or 1640 when there wasn't even a United States. Somehow that's...
And how's that working out for us?
Yeah. Somehow those magic words on paper, but hey, you know, as long as your name's not capitalized on your birth certificate, then they got no power over you, and you just tell them that when they're putting you in a cage.
Keep doing it.
And if you don't, and if you believe different, well, you're just conquered.
Yeah. and it's so silly. It's like and that goes back to, you know, the same thing as those Facebook typist warriors.
Well, it's just lending weight too. It's lending weight, is giving weight to the, you know, I stop at the customs because they'll run me down and shoot me if I don't. Otherwise, I wouldn't. Like this, you know, if you're going to court for something, they're compelling you to go.
You are under duress.
Yeah. If I didn't have to go to a court, I would not go.
I would never. I don't
care if. Yeah, I would just never show up.
No.
If a cop couldn't run me off the road and call 100 other cops, I just wouldn't slow down or stop.
Absolutely.
I would just be piss off, dude.
Yeah.
I'm busy.
And
I don't care about the laws.
Because you pull over when a cop or you show up to court because they are mandating you to be there, are you not a warrior? Are you not Mohawk anymore? Are you a sellout? Get the fuck out of here. That's absurd.
Yeah, and even on top of it, like, if there's some magic words, like you have to agree to a search and seizure, otherwise, and listen to their language.
Right.
That just shows you that they're corrupt and their system's full of lies anyway.
Yep.
So just do their stupid song and dance and move on with your life.
Move on with your life. Because and that's the other thing is, those same people who would criticize and, you know, really insult people who would say, well, I'm going to go to court because they can come and arrest me and I don't want to go to jail. Mm-hmm. Those same people will they'll have one of those cards, you know, like, I refuse my right. I refuse to submit to a search.
Yeah.
You are giving weight.
Yeah, the fact you pulled over at all.
So those were exactly. Well, yeah, that too. And you pulled over. You are utilizing the case law from a system that you totally denounce, and you totally insult anybody who is Onkwehonwe who would engage with it in a learned manner. It's like total nonsense. It's just absurd.
So the rules aren't what makes the power. It's the people willing to enact violence behind them.
Yep.
That really matter. Like all those, you know, ICE agents.
Yeah.
Like taking kids. Dude, how can you live with yourself?
Yeah.
Like I hope you're one of that 40% that eats it.
Me too.
Because screw you, man, you fucking narcs.
Yeah. And
because some kid is here. Because some kid doesn't have the proper paper. Some indigenous kid from Oaxaca doesn't have the right piece of paper. Oh, and then driving around calling for people's papers. Comrade.
Yeah.
That was when I remember that. Oh, the Reds. They make you ask your papers.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you now, motherfucker?
We used to have papers to leave the reserve.
Yeah. And now, you know, all over America is like that.
Yeah. And people, I mean, the Navajos, there's been reports of like 15 Navajos that were harassed and detained for hours because, you know, the Border Patrol thought they were Mexicans instead of Navajos, which is really fucking stupid anyway, because all of those brown people in Mexico are at least partly indigenous. So, you know, and there's historical evidence that there were trade routes that went from Mexico City to the U.S., what is now the U.S., and some of those trade routes made their way here. So, you know, I mean, it's just, you know, I think there's a lot more argument for the people from South America, Central America, and Mexico to be able to travel freely here with no harassment.
Yeah, than the people like Somalia.
Or I was reading about this the other day. There's been like 250,000 Ukrainian refugees who have come here.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that they're more legit to come here, and I understand they're refugees.
They're also the right color.
Exactly. Well, that's the point. I mean, is, you know, if you or I was going through the border and
we're the right color too.
and we are the right color. We have the right skin tone until they find out that we're Mohawk, and then it's going to be, lift your cheeks and, or spread your cheeks and lift your sack. I mean, that's the way it would be. Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
I've been patted down by the CVSA.
I never got patted down.
I did. They went through my mail as well.
I've been pulled in a bunch of times, but I mean, it's just, it's absurd. And those people, so I mean, and I think that we can probably expect to start seeing more of that. You talked about the drone that you saw out on your property.
A couple of people have seen it around.
Yep.
I suspect the local building across the river there has a fancy new toy, and they're playing with it.
Yeah, it must be. Now, well, I talked to a guy yesterday who he saw, they have those helicopters that can basically, like, they can kind of go silent, where it's like almost like you can only hear the whooshing. Well, that's what he said. He saw it twice on the res.
Yeah, I've seen that before. I've seen it. You don't hear it till it's like directly above you.
That's what he said.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And he said that sucker was flying low.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we're going to start seeing more instances of that. I think I told you on my way to work, I saw the white and blue CBP cars that were, I even saw one on 122, and I've never seen that before.
Yeah, they're going farther,
and they're on Route 11 now. Like they're like more often.
Yeah,
I've seen the white and green Border Patrol cars. I had never seen the CBP cars up on Route 11, and they're there.
It's crazy too, because government always wants to fix what government created, and like a lot of the migrant issue is because of the way they do immigration. It's not because...
Well, it's also because of those color revolutions.
Well, there's that. But
secret coups.
There's that, but there's also like just straight up, people want to migrate here, and there's not an easy path for them unless they're like a computer engineer.
Right.
Right.
And even then, they want to put them on an H-1B visa so they can basically be chattel.
Yeah. So they can work them cheaper.
Yeah, the cheapest.
Yeah.
They might be the most brilliant computer engineer, but they're going to be, Elon's going to be able to pay them a lot less. And if they complain, what are you going to do?
Which will knock down tech.
Yep.
Which everybody was told to invest in.
Well, it's pretty goddamn funny with DeepSeek. I'm loving it.
Oh, yeah.
Have you played with it at all?
I haven't tried it at all.
Well, I know we're going off again, but
we'll go there next time.
Yeah.
You were going to talk about
Chinese tech.
Citizenship.
Yeah, the citizenship too. Yeah, that goes into, the stuff with the border and what they did to the Navajos. That idea of us having to carry papers around. I don't think, like, if you and me are driving around, we're not likely to get pulled over and harassed like that.
They'll run our plates, see we're from Onkwehonwe,
right,
and then they want to search us.
Yes, because
we're all smugglers.
Yeah, exactly. And
we are.
They'll use. It's true. Never mind. I have Canadian auto parts stashed in my trunk.
I have American whiskey.
I'm fucking smuggling oil filters. What are you gonna do? I got a black market transmission in my car. I mean, honestly, it could come to that though eventually. But yeah, I mean, it's so we get there and it's like, we have to start carrying papers with us now. I mean, it's not to say, I think almost all of us, we carry some sort of identification, whatever. But I mean, they're even talking about literally having that, that federal like blood quantum card or paper or whatever. Yeah. Like they're talking about people like having to carry that now.
Told you they were Nazis.
Just to be safe.
Eugenics is back in style.
That's what I'm saying is like, are they going to put armbands on us now?
Yeah, no, tattoos.
See, that they might do to us because we're light skinned. Yeah. They might be like, hold on, we got to tattoo these light skinned bastards on their forehead.
No, they'll just rebrand us. Yeah, call it a day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like because that's the thing. And
I meet the blood quantum. I'll be fine.
Yeah, me too. But I mean, that's the that's kind of the joke I was making too. Was you want to know if you're because a lot of half breeds like me are insecure about our Indianness.
Oh, it goes further because look, if you got one Canadian parent, you are also a half breed by blood quantum.
Yeah, that's true.
You are not an American Indian.
That's true. Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah, that is true.
I have a relative whose dad is from Six Nations but isn't on the birth certificate. Yeah, and is counted as half under the tribes. The tribes.
Yeah,
blood quantum.
even though they're full.
And
Onkwehonwe.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to them.
Doesn't matter to them because it's all
that classification
bullshit.
system they want to do.
So, as Haudenosaunee, the citizenship is kind of hilarious because it's just reiterating what we said all along.
What we refused in 1924.
Yeah, we are not American or Canadian citizens. We're something else.
Right.
Baby.
And I've been thinking about this, though, is okay. And a lot of people here say we're not citizens of the U.S. or Canada.
Nor under their jurisdiction if you read that law.
Right. But here's the thing. Okay. In order to go through the border, whatever, we've accepted citizenship on some level or another.
Under duress.
Perfectly. I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that we have. Now, but what's the reality? Like, let's say we all get our wish here in Onkwehonwe, those Facebook warriors that we're talking about, and all of our citizens, Jesus
You
Christ,
could say it.
all of our whatever is citizenship ships.
Citizenship.
God damn it! Holy shit! I sound like George W. Bush now.
sound like Biden.
Derp. Oh, I know. As long as I don't drool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, imagine if that's revoked, right? For all of us.
Right.
What's our reality then? I mean, it's.
Well, here's my two mind games. Number one,
I'm not done thinking about it.
We're like the deer. We can come
in
and
the
go.
headlights.
We come and go as we please. We are of the land. We're like Vatican City. If you're from the Vatican, you're not you're your own thing.
Okay.
But you can just wander around Italy too.
But do you think that that's actually going to be how it plays out?
No, how it plays out is like this. Okay, we accept your citizenships of the Mohawk Nation. You get to stay there.
Right.
And then we just surround the res, which we can do.
Right.
There's only like 4 roads.
Yeah.
And there you go. If you ever want to leave, you need a passport.
But what do we do with that?
We're just completely fucked.
Right. Because
then they make us beg them for citizenship.
Right. And that's probably part of the goal. Because here's the thing.
Wait, no. The magic spirits will come fix it.
Yes. When I burn sage or, tobacco, well, I shouldn't be it's just, that's the thing is like.
You're not going to pray your way out, bud.
No, we're not going to be able to pray our way out of this. It's not going to be that way. I mean, it's like that, you caught the dog who caught the car.
Yeah.
Now what?
Oh, I'm that guy all the time.
Well, I know you are, but so am I. But I'm trying on this one to be a little bit more deliberative. You know what I mean? To not be reactionary, because I know a lot of us tend to get that way. I'm not saying I don't. All I'm saying is, if that actually happens and you end up catching the car tire that you had been chasing, can you take down the SUV?
And then there's the other side. We worry about nothing because the federal government's going to flame out, and the deep state they're always worried about will rise up, and it'll be enough, and they'll start doing something.
You think that they would actually do that, though?
I mean, they have legit intelligence agents.
No, I know they do.
They have, even Canada has legit intelligence agents.
Yeah, what's theirs? The SJS or some shit like that? SJC or
CSIS.
Yeah, CSIS.
Yeah, they have one of the best monitoring things in the world.
For sure.
They're
Mexico has intelligence agencies.
Yeah. Like, I can see that playing a factor.
Potentially. I mean, they've done it before.
They tried 42 times on Hitler.
They tried like 100 and something times on Castro.
Maybe they're not so good at it.
Well, they got JFK, though.
Well, Americans are easy. They don't sit down when they're getting shot at.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, God damn it. Like, you hear that report, if you're not hitting the ground, I mean, it's a little bit of that's on you, guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I just kind of, and this is just something I've only been thinking about the last couple of days, like more deeply, is just, you catch that tire. Yeah. What do you do then? I mean, honestly, we can't, look, everybody needs to disabuse themselves of the idea that there's any time soon that we are going to be fully extricated from any interference from the U.S. or Canadian government. That's not going to happen. We are not going to be, even if they revoke the citizenship from us, and we all of a sudden we're not citizens of the U.S. We're just in Akwesasne, and this is our own territory. We're Mohawk, we're Akwesasne citizens. We're not going to be able to just trade freely. We're not going to be able to call up Venezuela or China and be able to just, set up operations here so that we can prop up our economy. That's not going to be allowed.
Right.
I don't care what anybody says. You show me a world where that's going to happen, and I'll show you that I can fucking dunk a basketball.
Run 5 miles.
Yeah. That I could run a fucking mile, please.
Quit smoking.
Without my, yeah. Or without me getting stretch marks on my boobs from running. You know what I mean? I know I'm poking fun at myself, but that's the thing is, like, these are virtual impossibilities. Mm-hmm. It's just not reasonable.
That's right.
And it's not to say that in the future, like, even in my nirvana, we have them totally out of our affairs, but I just don't see that's certainly not going to happen anytime in my lifetime or my son's lifetime. Mm-hmm. It's not. And I don't, honestly, I doubt that's ever going to happen. We can surely do more to assert our sovereignty, expand upon our freedoms and really assert those. But, the idea that we're ever going to be fully, severed from them is just, it's nonsense.
Large families.
Yeah.
Large families. Get on it, ladies.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
Literally get on it.
Both.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, I think there's going to be a lot of injustice in the short term.
Yeah, for sure.
They're really pushing hard at the trans LGBT stuff. I get it that the left went too far with the policing of language.
Sure.
I feel that way too.
So do I.
However, putting trans people in fucking male jail, like, you're a fucking monster if you're doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, look, I don't know, use your eyes.
Right.
Like, just use your eyes.
Yep.
It's evil.
It is evil.
It's evil what they're doing. And then to, jail itself is evil. If you're a prison guard, you're taking part in evil. Caging humans is evil. Rehabilitating humans is great. That's not what happens.
It doesn't usually work, though.
They expect you to get raped.
Oh, I know. Yeah, for sure.
That's the reality.
And what do you think is going to happen to a trans person?
A beautiful woman.
Like, that's going to be, that is evil. It's fucking evil.
Yeah.
Like, there's
picking on the most marginalized, just that's representative of the people who support this, and if they're okay, it's the other. I'm not into American politics all that much, but when I see the way people like Elise Stefanik talk to each other, I know you're colleagues, so this is all a show,
right?
But you're also pretending to be this mean to each other.
Yep.
Really? This is what you think is good, and then you watch that from the other. Hey, you got her. Really? You think that's good?
Is that what you really want?
Yeah. Like, we get mad at political opponents here. We're not like, oh, we're so happy you talk to each other like you're dirtbags.
Yeah. We don't. Why in hell would anybody want their elected leadership to treat each other that way? I don't understand why you would. It's gross.
Yeah.
It's gross. And then, and you're right to pick on the most marginalized people. When I saw that when they said that, when Trump said that the federal employees have to stop taking their pronoun, preferences in their email signature line and stuff, I'm like, you're
policing language.
Like,
you're saying what you're doing, the thing you said they were doing.
Do I care? Like, if somebody wants to do that? No. Why do you feel the need to step on them? And now you really want to mess with trans people like that?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
I do think the pronoun thing is kind of stupid.
So do I.
But you're allowed to do it.
And what harm is it doing to anybody?
Yeah. I'm not going to participate. I'll probably make a joke of it because that's just the way I am.
Yeah. Well, I agree. I think it's, it's kind of, to me, it seems a little performative. But I don't care if someone does it.
Right.
What do I care?
Yeah.
you know, and I'm certainly not going, you know, if I'm in the federal government, I'm not going to be advocating to put trans women in jail with men.
No.
It's brutal in there.
Yeah. I mean, if
they're going to be tortured.
Yeah. If you feel that strongly about it, okay, take all the transgender prisoners and put them in their own jail. Like,
put them in their own wing or whatever, something, because you can't, it's monstrous to do that to them.
And the fact that we know that and we could just say that shows you that the entire system is monstrous and shouldn't exist the way it is.
It shouldn't exist the way it is. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that we are, I mean, it's insane to me. These people are sick. I cannot believe, like, no, I mean, I can believe. I mean, look at the shit they've done to natives historically.
But the shit they've done to each other. I saw the dumbest thing. Tangent. But, you know, Guantanamo is going to be a concentration camp. Okay. I saw someone say, the first time America gets its first concentration camp. It's like, dude.
We live on a concentration camp.
Yeah, you've been doing it since the Indians.
There's 574 concentration camps.
Yeah. And then you have multiple examples of the Japanese internment.
Yep.
You know, the unions, when they with the war with unions.
Yeah, the company store.
Yeah, people don't ever talk about that as warfare.
I don't think, that's one that I don't think people
really
know about.
Yeah.
They used to, the big mining consortiums and stuff, they literally, there was a time when they wouldn't pay their workers like money.
Yeah.
They gave them credit at the company store. That's where that song comes from. I sold my soul to the company store. That comes from that.
And then they would control all the prices and there was no competition.
Yep.
It was very anti-capitalist when you think about it.
Very much. And capitalism for me, not for thee.
That's what they mean. Yeah. Free market for me, rules for me, not for thee.
Yep. And
we like the free market until it decides we're out of business.
And now we're going to, now they're going to be deciding to pick on all of these people who are like already marginalized. And like my wife, she always says that the res was the original ghetto, which is fair. I mean, concentration camp, I think that's fair. I mean, they were sterilizing our women up into the 80s without them knowing, I mean, they were doing
it still has happened in Canada.
Yeah.
Recently.
Yep. So, I mean, the idea that they would do this is not unthinkable. I had kind of hoped that we would be past that.
Well, maybe this is the last gasp.
I hope.
Their tyranny will cause the state to explode and crumble, and then we'll rise up again like phoenixes in our new form of utopia.
Our utopia?
Yeah.
Well, you would think at some point, I mean, people talk about the U.S. is headed towards a civil war. Is that necessarily a bad thing? Because I certainly want the class war. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, I'd rather not.
I'd rather have the class war. That's what I want.
Well, even the class war, like, I mean, usually the rich win those ones. They have all the tanks.
Yeah, but there's so many more of us.
Still.
I think it could happen.
I mean, we would stop working, and then they would drain. We would have to do the solidarity thing.
Well, that's the first step in the class war.
We'd have to build the solidarity thing first.
Yeah. Yes.
And then if we build a solidarity thing, maybe we don't need to fight a war.
Yeah.
Because we can just work our way out of it.
Everybody just understand that the reason why the elite class have the power over us is because we let them have that power over us. All of us who work, if we all commune together as working class people and understand that our labor is what gives them that great wealth and that power over us, our time.
See, Marx got it wrong. Value isn't in labor. It's in time.
True, that's a finite resource for every human.
Value is subjective.
Absolutely.
But we give them our time.
Yeah, people give value to diamonds.
Services are just as valid as labor.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, it's the time. Whatever you can do with the time. Well, I'm not an economist. I mean, I understand that. But I do know that it's our time and what we do with it to help make them money. That's where the power is. And everybody needs to understand that. And if we could all congregate around that and organize everybody who is working class and refuse to let them do that to us anymore, general strikes all the time. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
I think that's where we can start
Yeah.
organizing.
It's a good start.
All right. This is Sage Against the Machine. I'm Joshua.
I'm Isaac.
And we're out of here. We'll see you next time if, the bombs haven't gone off.
Yeah.